Hello and welcome to the September Microsoft product licensing update from the software asset management practice here at version 1. Hi Neve, hi William, how are you today?
Good,
Hey,
thank you.
Carl. Good, thanks.
Good. So few updates this month, nothing too strenuous to run through, a little bit like last month because we're probably coming out of the summer period, so updates are a little bit in on the ground. Um, this month, William, do you want to kick things off? I know you looked at, I think there's
Yeah.
some Office 360 or Microsoft 365 updates.
Yeah. So there's just added some new licenses to the availability tables and prerequisite tables. So mainly security. So they've added a 10-year audit log retention product, as well as Defender vulnerability management, internet access and private access, and secure access essentials for frontline workers. So these are all just additional product lines that sit within the EA and MCA license prerequisites table. And the final one, which I think is probably more interesting, is Python in Excel. So this is basically an add-on into Excel to allow integration of Python to sort of further enhance programming capabilities at source of Excel and help integrate into other business systems. So I think open source integration into a paid for Microsoft service, which is quite interesting. But that's the updates on the Microsoft 365 side.
Great stuff. Thanks, William. So I had a brief look at the Azure section where there was some added support and extended security updates, or ESU, should I say, terms. So some slight changes to the language in that section. So in September, we can see in the product terms that it mentioned that for SQL Server extended security updates, or ESUs, year 2 and subsequent versions, that the customer is permitted to apply an ESU enabled by Azure Arc only if the license server is covered with a SQL Server ESU license for the preceding year. Also within the support section, there's a clarification. Basically in September, we can see where Microsoft say, or where they explicitly, I guess you could say, list the support scenarios that ESU coverage includes. So that, such as things like deployment, installation, activation of ESU keys, and addressing bugs, regressions that might have been introduced with security updates. But I think what's most important here is that it also specifies that general technical support is not included unless specified. So, perhaps some customers might be getting somewhat confused in terms of what an ESU actually entitles them to in terms of features and capabilities. So that was, that was the key changes that I saw on the product terms from an ESU's perspective. And Neve, over to you. I think you've checked out the software assurance benefits.
So essentially, yeah, so you looked at the Azure reference to kind of ESU and the changes within, and the software assurance benefit section is pretty much essentially the same thing in relation to clarifying exactly what ESUs cover and what they don't from a support point of view. So look, Microsoft, and I can understand kind of where that if there's been customer confusion, because extended security updates are not cheap. You're talking about, I think, when they started out, you were looking at about 75% of the cost of a license, every year. And I know definitely for some of the ESUs, they've had actually ascending costs as the years have gone on. So that I can understand kind of if Microsoft have confused customers to a degree as to what bang they were getting for their buck. So look, just say in essence, they're saying that if you want support, you have to go by either, the usual channels of pay-per incident, unified support, or premier support for partners. And as you said, like the ESUs are pretty much just limited to installation of patches, security updates, licenses and keys and so on for patches. And essentially then it's probably no harm kind of looking at, you know, what came out there in the recent months regarding the Windows 10 extended security update. So for the first time, Microsoft are going to extend extended security updates to consumers for anyone who, you know, feels a lot of love towards like their Windows 10 device, which is ineligible for Windows 11 upgrade. And they haven't released any pricing, but they have given indication for what commercial customers will pay. So that's out there anyway, you know, for people to look at if that's going to be something they'll be affected by, you know, in just over a year's time, October 25.
Very good. So there was one other update just around the glossary. So September saw some clarification that enterprise subscription enrollment customers have specific terms governing reductions, separating it from other enrollment types like the enterprise enrollment or enterprise enrollment for education solutions. So if you're looking to try to get a handle on, you know, what those reductions or what type of reductions you're allowed, so you want to refer back to the enterprise subscription enrollment to understand how that specifically applies to your organization, which is a really important one because particularly in the world of cloud, we always encourage customers to look at the opportunity to harvest underutilized online services that could be adding cost to your business, or perhaps changing licensing metrics, introducing new license types into your estate that could ultimately drive down cost. So that's pretty much it for this month's product terms. If you have any questions off the back of today's session, feel free to reach out to us here at the Software Asset Management team. If you have any Microsoft licensing related queries, or perhaps any other software vendor licensing related queries, we'd be delighted to hear from you and hopefully be able to shed some light on some of the complexities of licensing. So thanks, Niamh. Thanks, William. See you on next month's update.
Great stuff. Thanks,
you.
Carl. Thanks, William. Bye-bye.